Allison Broski is a student and lead director of GrizzHacks at Oakland University. Allison, what in the world is GrizzHacks? And better yet, is it legal?
That's an excellent question, Ronnie. So GrizzHacks is completely legal. Hackathons are actually incredibly popular all over the world. We are not the only organization that does this, nor are we the biggest organization that does this. So when I say GrizzHacks is a hackathon, what I'm talking about is a programming competition. We have students from all different majors come to a center, in this instance, typically the engineering center at Oakland University. This year we're going to be virtual, so you can stay in the comfort of your home and just log on and join us. And you have between 24 and 36 hours, depending on the event, to build a project from the ground up. You have complete freedom to utilize the resources that you want to. Often we'll have hardware resources in an in-person event available to students. In this instance, we'll have plenty of software technology that they can utilize for free. And then you get to compete for prizes at the end of it. So GrizzHacks has over $8,000 worth of prizes this year that we're giving out. And we're very excited to just have students come to our event, learn how to program if they don't know anything about it. We're super beginner friendly, or if they are familiar with it, build something incredible.
So is this more of an individual, or can people work with others to have a team?
We highly encourage teamwork. Teams can be individual, but we can go up to 4 individuals per team. And then everyone on that team is eligible for a prize at the end of it.
So is it just anything and everything that they want to try to program, or do you have stipulations or arenas that you try to stay within?
So that's an excellent question. It really depends on the event. For GrizzHacks itself, we leave it up to the discretion of the hackers. Some events you'll see a health focus. We had a lot of COVID hacks over the summer that really focused on combating COVID and what we can do technology-wise to help aid our healthcare workers and different individuals that might need extra assistance. A lot of events, though, also leave it open-ended, so you can be developing web applications, websites. You can be doing some data mining and trying to work with artificial intelligence technology. We like to leave it open-ended because it does make it a little bit more beginner-friendly. And then if hackers or participants need an idea of what to build, then we offer them prize categories. So they can try and tailor their projects to be eligible to win one of those categories.
So Allison Broski with us. She's a student and the lead director of GrizzHacks at Oakland University, joining us today on the MegaCast. Allison, you mentioned earlier that people of all different experience levels, from people that are relatively new or entirely new to hacking to those who are experienced hackers, can join this competition. Are there resources available for people that are new to hacking, that are interested in this and want to get involved and learn throughout the process, and maybe even still be competitive in the competitions, for them to learn along the way as they're going and developing their own hacks?
Yeah, Tyler, that's an excellent question. And we have plenty of resources for beginners. The first we have available is we're giving 3 different tech talks right at the beginning of hacking. So we're doing an intro to Android development. We're doing an intro to GitHub. This is a version control system that helps you increment your code as you go throughout the development process. And we're doing intro to web development Friday night. And then we also have a whole beginners portal. So there will be tutorials on there. There'll be video links. There'll be different resources for hackers to utilize. And then we'll also have mentors from our sponsoring companies there. We'll have alumni mentors, and then there's always the organizers. And a lot of us are computer science students, so we're always ready to help hackers that needed a little bit of extra assistance, make sure they're able to continue progressing through their projects over the course of the weekend, and they're not frustrated, stuck at their desks, trying to figure out why they can't print a statement to their console.
Allison Broski with she is the student and lead director over at GrizzHacks at Oakland University. I'm on the website now, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is like a foreign language, using a new API or writing up a rubber duck. Yeah. You know, rubber duck to me is the little squeaky orange duck. So if someone has no background in this, is this a good event for them to try to dip their toes in?
Absolutely. So hackathons are often the first place students get exposure to programming because it is that friendly space and you have all these resources and it's not this intimidating classroom where you're sitting in front of a teacher absent-mindedly staring at their presentation. You actually get to work with technology. You get the immediate feedback that you need in order to succeed. I mean, most of my friends have started through hackathons, and that's how they really got involved with this and decided this is what they want to major in, and this is what they want their degrees to be in.
So speaking of degrees and a future, I know you said you do have sponsors and mentors from companies. I would imagine the future is bright for students such as yourself and others that go into this arena. Are you being sought after, and are there a lot of scholarships available for students that want to go into this arena?
Yeah, I would say it's a highly competitive market. There's lots of job opportunities. I was actually doing some research a couple days ago that said the job growth in even just web development itself is about 8%. So that's over 10,000 jobs that we need in the next 9 years for development. And then there's plenty of opportunities for students to get involved with it, right? You mentioned scholarships. There's plenty of opportunities for students to get money in order to go to college or to go to a boot camp that really support especially women and diversity in STEM.
Allison Broski with us here. So give us a breakdown. Is this just for students? And do they have to be, if it is just for students, do they have to be Oakland University students, or can they be from anywhere?
So we are restricted to just students and those that have graduated within the last year. Some events do allow corporate individuals, but what we found is that often creates a very competitive space, and beginners might not feel that they'll be eligible for prizes, or they might not have a chance of completing a project if they're competing against individuals from like Facebook or Google. And so we do have that restriction of high school, middle school, university students, and those that have graduated within the last year.
How'd you get interested in this area?
I got interested in computer science completely by accident. I actually came into university as a mechanical engineering student and had an internship with an automotive company and discovered that automotive's great, but I'm going to a desk every day and doing the work and getting paid, and that's it. I'm going home. And one day I had an engineer come up to me and say, I want you to program an Excel macro. And I was like, this is the best thing in the world. I love it so much. And I kind of knew at that point I should make a switch to computer science. And then I got involved with hackathons by participating in GrizzHacks 3. And that was my first experience at Oakland University doing a hackathon, and I loved it. I loved the team that I was working with. It was a completely different atmosphere from what you're doing in the classroom, right? You have a long stretch of time to do a project, and it's often guided. Like the teacher will tell you, okay, step one, we're typing in the terminal, and then we're going to move to a text editor in order to run that program. And then you're making a final project at the end of your 8 or 16 weeks. And a hackathon is, okay, you're building everything from the ground up in 24 hours. You're staying up until 4 or 5 in the morning trying to complete this project. You're feasting on all the junk food you want. You're meeting all kinds of different individuals from all over the world. I've made some of my best friends at hackathons, and I just love doing it. And that's why I got involved as an organizer, because I wanted to give students that same experience that I had at GrizzHacks 3.
Allison Broski with us. She is a student and the lead organizer of GrizzHacks at Oakland University, joining us today on the show. Allison, for those that do want to participate, what kind of materials or resources do they need to have, and can they start on any hacks that they would like to submit for this event before the event begins?
We do not allow students to start before the event. We want them to start at 8:30 Friday night from the ground up and build it over the course of that 36 hours that we have available to them. The only resources they really need is a computer and an internet connection. That's all you need essentially to be a developer. There's plenty of free resources that you're able to download to your computer. There's plenty of tutorials on the internet that you need to utilize. And then, like I mentioned before, we have that access to the mentors through a technology called Slack. So they'll be able to message different corporate and alumni mentors that'll help them out.
Well, let's hope that we don't have any severe storms this weekend and it knocks out the internet access to anyone. Allison, so I will say, if I would imagine, so it's virtual this year, which will be a different experience than being in person, but because this will involve so many people that already have pretty good computer skills, they're not going to be at that much of a disadvantage, right?
I would say not necessarily, no.
How do they, so many of these events, like we go to a conference or an event such as this, it's about those in-person connections and meetings. And while we do have online technology to be able to do that, it's still not the same as a face-to-face interaction. So do you think they're going to lose some of that excitement and connectivity with other individuals that maybe they wouldn't get, or that, you know, being virtual? Or do you think this is actually going to be an asset in some ways?
That's an excellent question, Ronnie. And I think that's something even we've considered and we've struggled with as an organizing team, is how do we create the same level of engagement in a virtual event as we have in an in-person event, right? Because you don't have those spur of the moment meetups. You don't have those walking by the table moments and saying, oh, cool, you're working on a hardware hack and you're building a rubber duck. What's with these tiny little 3D printed ducks that are all around you? You do have to be more intentional with what you're doing, but we have plenty of events scheduled across the weekend to help hackers connect with one another. I think we have an event every hour over the course of these 36 hours for students to meet up, talk with one another in a very relaxed space. And we make sure that there's still opportunities to talk with the sponsors. We have a whole sponsorship expo from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. So they still have that opportunity to share their resumes, talk with potential recruiters, have that experience that they otherwise normally wouldn't get.
So Allison, you mentioned earlier that you have participated in GrizzHacks, and that's what really got you excited to go into the field of computer science. Have there been any projects that have come out of these hackathons to lead to, growth in the industry and permanent change in the society that we would recognize?
Off the top of my head, I can't point to anything specific. The main concern with that is the fact that these projects are really minimum viable products, right? Or they're patched together with some duct tape to make sure that they're able to be presented at the end of the project. But there are opportunities out there for students that build something that they're really passionate about and turn it into a full-time business. Lots of hackathons will offer different scholarships or different business incubators. Those are often at larger universities. Unfortunately, Oakland doesn't offer anything like that. But we have discussed what can we do to support hackers if they want to continue with their projects post-event.
So what would you recommend to, let's say I'm in junior high or I'm in high school, and I'm looking at this as a possibility, because I do think your generation and the younger generation, you're so tech savvy. What can you do, or what do you wish you would have done starting at maybe 7th, 8th, 9th grade to launch you into this career?
That's an awesome question. You know, I would advise students be exploring what you're interested in. Don't feel like you need to peg yourself into one specific area because it makes a lot of money or it sounds prestigious. Because the thing about computer science is you do have to be dedicated to what you're doing. It is highly competitive in terms of what people are building, what people are learning, and it can feel a little bit overwhelming to anyone that's new to the industry to get involved. If students in high school and junior high are interested in pursuing computer science and they want a good place to start, Free Code Camp has some awesome free resources for you guys to learn the basic web development technologies. And then hackathons. Always recommend hackathons of just meeting up with older students, hearing what they have to say about being in computer science, computer engineering, and different engineering fields that are tied to this, and get exposure to what it means to be in this industry.
Allison Broski with us. She's the lead director of GrizzHacks and is a student at Oakland University. So I think that people that maybe are interested in participating in GrizzHacks are probably wondering, how does the judging work? What should they be aware of is what they're being judged on, so that they can best prepare themselves to put their best foot forward in this competition.
Absolutely. Judging will happen on Sunday. For the top 10 prizes, it'll be judged by a panel of 5 industry and university professionals, and they'll be judging it based on innovation factor, what kind of documentation do you have? Were you able to tackle different challenges? Were you pushing yourself to try something new? And then we have sponsored prizes, and those will be judged by our sponsorship representatives. So they'll have an ultimate say on what kind of judging criteria that they utilize. The students are interested in those, definitely stick with the topic at hand that they presented to you, and we'll present those at opening ceremony as well, and then tailor your project to that. We also have some random variety prizes like best beginner hack, best write-up, best use of GitHub. There's not a lot you can do except utilize those technologies and show us that you've done really well with them.
So Allison, when they come in and they start the 36 hours, are the participants handed certain guidelines and thresholds that they need to meet in order to reach the pinnacle and win those prizes?
So the only guidelines we set are start and end your hack within the 36-hour time period, and then a little bit of documentation. This year, we're going to need a 2-minute video, the title, and then the write-up. We'll be using a website called DevPost, and that's very popular among the hackathon community for submitting and displaying your projects. And that's all they really need.
This is all like a foreign language to me, I just have to tell you. So GrizzHacks is 36 straight hours of hacking. It starts Friday night, September 18th. And goes until Sunday, September 20th. It is going to be virtual this year, which I would imagine there's going to be a shortage of Red Bull around the Oakland University campus right now.
Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately, that's one of the regrets of this year, right? COVID put a kink in the plans of holding it at the engineering center. But we still hope to create the same awesome atmosphere, still have a fun party, and celebrate 5 years of hackathons, and then see everyone next year at GrizzHacks 6 at Oakland University.
I will say this has been so awesome. Thank you for sharing GrizzHacks with me. I didn't know such things existed, because especially when you say hacking, people think it's something illegal. So it's great to see that competitions such as this do exist. Anything you need to get out to the listeners and viewers that maybe we didn't touch on before we let you go?
Yeah. If you're interested in participating in GrizzHacks, go to grizzhacks.com to register, and then we'll be sending out some more information over the course of today and tomorrow about how to actually start participating. It's going to be a great event, over $8,000 in prizes, tons of learning opportunities, and we encourage everyone of all levels and majors, even if you don't have a major, to participate.
Oh, and quickly, is there a cost associated?
No cost. It is completely free. No kinds of, do you have to be a U.S. citizen? You can be from Canada if you have listeners in Canada. We have plenty of people in the Pacific and Asia coming over to the event because it's virtual. So really, as long as you're a student, you can attend the event.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Allison, for being with us, and good luck hacking and hack away. And I'm sure this weekend you're going to have absolutely no sleep. But we wish you and all of the participants the best of luck. And you know what? Good luck with your future as well. We need so many bright young students like you to help lead us into this next generation. So good luck to you as well.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Tyler, for having me on.